Thank you very much for having me today. This is a great day for us to present the work I did, and I will be presenting a key issue in my country, and it's something that we did wanted to apply to make sure that Haiti, as a disaster-prone country, follow up with a clear standard on how we can apply human security in the communities, especially in the North Department, which is a risky, prone, disaster, vulnerable target in this area. Since you know, in 2010, on January 13, Haiti was struck by a major earthquake, affecting more than 200,000 people died. And this first research was done mainly by some key stakeholders, especially UNDP in the past. And my work was based on that, and taking into consideration also, as I work for in the UN, was a key concern, and how we put things together in a way that we stick to the plan. I will go quickly to the objects, present the outline. It's pretty. I will go over what was the background of this project and the main objective, the methodology used, and also implementation. And by concluding also what we done and what future work also we are having in the future to make sure that most of those community apply this human security approach. So if you human security approach is pretty clear and special way of enhancing the fundamental freedoms of people, essence of life. So it means that basically protecting people from severe and pervasive street and situation. So this is a lot of thing where even the stakeholders based on the government and also the UN and also different NGOs take part of that. This is very something that we take to heart in this matter. The objective it was really clear in that, and if I go to the background, Haiti is one of the most vulnerable country in such to earthquake, and there can be also we have a major hurricane all the time. So human security approach was very something that we needed to tackle this critical component of those people who was most vulnerable. When we talk about most people vulnerable in this area, we talk about the children, the women, and how we involve all the stakeholders in the area. So the project was planned to secure the community ownership by most vulnerable countries, with a particular focus on women, children in the North Department. The North Department for us was a way because after many research and also evaluation, this area is very risky in terms of that. So the approach was to apply the human security approach and involve all stakeholders, even though at the community, making sure that if something happened in this particular case, they are aware and they have a clear plan, a business continuity plan at the local level, at the regional level, and also at all the government stage. So we wanted something from the top down to the up, in this way, to make sure that everybody's involved. And the response was very positive, and that's something we're making sure of. Um, the project intended also to address the strengthening of the most exposed individual. We did have other NGO who works in this area, UNDP, Oxfam, and as you know, Haiti national budget, it's around $2.2 billion a year, which is way past low compared to other countries in the area, like the Republic, the Dominican, Jamaica, for example, was a budget of 16 billion. With a population of almost 11 million, we can have an idea how the challenge the government is facing to apply the human security. If it wasn't for the donors and also the international community helping out to apply, to work on this approach, this cannot be happening. So with that, with applying the remote secondary and get the local and the regional getting the capacity needed to do that was an overall challenge, and this is how this project was implemented, and making sure that we have that in lights. The objective was, the project was four main objectives. The human security of vulnerable communities is improved through an increased participation in the construction of knowledge and disaster-related insecurity, and their integration in disaster risk management strategy at the local, municipal, and department level. I will point out the first objective also, and to do that, it's applying the human security approach also when you go at the level that at the mayor office and at the schools also, the teacher improve and speak to the students how this human security approach. When a disaster is occurring, what are the steps to be? What will be the people involved? How do we prepare ourselves in those situations? And this is, we start with the key, and the key always for us is the school. Make sure the children all know, and this integration also involve the parents to make sure that how the community is planning everything together to make sure so this approach, they can include this approach in their daily lives. And with that, we have that in the community, and we have a global plan to the community who goes to the regional all the way to the government to make sure everybody is covered, and we cover all the right distance to make sure this is applied. The second objective is the insecurities toward disaster of the most vulnerable community, or address holistically. So basically, insecurities mean that if a disaster occurs and we have clear business plan, business disaster recovery plan, we protect firstly how the structure is involved, the women, the children, and we make sure we have an approach which is clearly gender balanced in this way. And that goes also to do the same for the third objective, and lastly the natural exposure to natural hazard. So it's a way of life of knowing that situation, that we are in a vulnerable country, and earthquake or hurricane can happen all the time, and the people knows that and prepare for that in their daily life, and how they manage their life, how they are prepared, how also they construct their house in a systematic way. So this is the approach on that. The project was developed, if I go to the methodology very clearly, mainly by primary and secondary data. So human security give us a way also to get the data in different phases. So in the community, you need firstly situation analysis to make sure that which is part of the country is most vulnerable in this kind of situation. So in a second days after we do that situation analysis, we do a mapping of the needs and the capacity that will be needed, and with that we have implement all the human security approach, and assess the impact to see how things are moving forward. So with that methodology, also consultation meeting with representative of the civil protection, the gender ministry, and other stakeholder, and involve everybody in the community was a key to make sure that this concept was applied. And lastly, as I spoke earlier, the future, some of the agency works clearly, some of the non-agency work on that, and especially the UN, the Oxfam, who's been there in the north for a decade, and that's something that we have key data in this area. So working on with those information and making sure that this approach is respected. That was the main goal. So to achieve the goal, there's existing partners with all over them, in particular the decentralized government, for instance, such as this North of Civil Protection. And this is the approach going from protection and empowerment. Protection and empowerment is a right way to make sure that we apply this approach clearly, and this is a key feature in this context. So what do we mean by protection? So it's mainly to make sure that we respect in this all the norms and to protect the people from any pervasive threat, any threat. So it's a way to apply the protection approach, a top-down approach. So he recognizes that people face threats all the time, and like natural disaster. It can be also financial crisis or conflict, but these people protecting an approach in a systematic way help us and help also the state apply the structure, the positive program. So when we go on empowerment, we apply the reverse. It's not the protection is top down, but the empowerment is bottom up. And this is the approach of the human security, and that makes us do that. So we need both together, and it cannot be alone. And when we do, we have those two in together. That's when.